up, everybody? Welcome to the Good News Room. We have made it. Am I supposed to look at this or like the camera? I don't know. I'm just going to look at myself. I don't really know how you're supposed to look at this. I just want to say, first of all, thank you guys so much for joining me in the Good News Room. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the support, the shares, the likes, the comments, the love, the words of encouragement that you guys provided to me for the video. um what can I say? I'm excited. I'm excited that you guys are here. um I'm glad you guys enjoyed the video. I'm glad that my vision was able to come to life through that video. I want to again send a big huge shout out to Miss Ebony with Winobi Concepts. You guys, she's amazing, and I'm just really grateful that she was able to capture everything that I provided to her and told her that I wanted to be captured in that video. And I just left it in her hands. I said, hey, here's what I was going through, here's my situation, this is what needs to be dealt with, and she made it come to life. So I definitely want to say thank you all for joining me. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the love and the encouragement. It really meant everything, y'all. I am a pretty transparent person for the most part. I'm gonna tell y'all how bad I was sweating after I posted that video. I don't sweat, and I was just at home in my pajamas. So I started my morning off sweating. I don't even know why, but I was sweating, y'all. It was horrible. It was pretty bad. So, anywho, I just want to say thank you for that. So I'm going to jump right in. I want to first let you guys know about myself, about my brand, about the movement, what the whole thing is about. So like I did say in the trailer that you guys seen, well, when I posted it on social media, I understand that you guys have been seeing For What It's Worth around for a while, and maybe you haven't even paid attention to it. Maybe you haven't even noticed I just put hashtag For What It's Worth on everything that I post. But For What It's Worth is my brand that I launched back in June of 2017. And For What It's Worth is a lifestyle. It's basically what it is. I'm going to actually read you guys my mission statement. So For What It's Worth is a faith-based movement that motivates self-awareness through our Father in heaven. It is equipped to promote and motivate love and power that's only given through the Messiah. It's basically about identity. It's basically about us finding our identity in the Father and really understanding who we are, how powerful we are, how creative we are. Like, we are co-creators. And I personally believe that once you find out who you are, the power in which you possess, how important and special you really are, that's when you can um, really operate in the fullness of yourself and all your talents, all your gifts. And that's what purpose is then birthed. So we've all been given a purpose, and some of us have become lost along the way. I mean, we all go through the phase of it, so that's basically what For What It's Worth is about. It's about a lifestyle. It's about doing everything that you do because you feel that it's ultimately what you're supposed to do. Whether it feels good in the process, or whether it doesn't, it's just something that you're committed to. You're committed to yourself, and you're committed to our Creator, and you're committed through love and through obedience and keeping His laws upon your heart. So that is what For What It's Worth is about. It's a lifestyle. It's a commitment. It's a movement that allows people to come together. Having accountability partners is very important to me. And sometimes you just need someone to be able to hold you accountable, pick you up when you fall, because we all have those moments. And that's really what I believe that partnership in life is about. Now, the Good News Room. What is the Good News Room? Well, first of all, the Good News Room was actually a blog first. Some of you have actually seen some of the blogs. The blog actually also came out in 2017 as well, towards the end of 2017. But I like to talk, and I talk a lot sometimes, and I just don't like trying to type and write as much as I talk. I just rather get it all out, and however it comes out, it comes out. So I decided to do a YouTube channel so that I can keep up with it. I just feel like I would be a little more productive if I did YouTube channels rather than blogs. I initially did the blog because I wanted to hide behind the computer. I didn't want you guys to have to look at me all the time. So, yeah, that's kind of how that went. So the Good News Room ties into, for what it's worth, as a brand, as a lifestyle, as a commitment, as a journey. And the Good News Room is sharing the good news of the gospel. The Good News Room is a community of, it's a space that allows you to come in and be yourself, be vulnerable. It's for me to share information with you, things that I've studied, things that I've learned along the way. Different topics we will discuss. You know, I'm not really big on current events. I'll leave that to everybody else, whoever's doing that. That's, more their thing. But for me, I will more so be, we may talk about some current events as it relates to us, our people. And um, I just want to basically create an environment that we can share, we can have a dialogue, we can share information, have a dialogue about who we are and the things that we go through and how we can overcome what's thrown at us, things in life, and how to rise up, how to rise up and really walk in purpose, the purpose in which we were created. We were given dominion by our Creator to have dominion and subdue this earth. And it is my mandate that we actually get that done. And we have to do that as a community. We are a body in the kingdom. So each one of us has our own gifts, our own talents, and our own purpose. And I believe that there's so much that He wants done on this earth that He gives each and every one of us a part and a portion to bring it all together to make everything happen. And so it is my duty, as a chosen vessel, to figure out how we can come together and get that done. And I think that first comes with understanding who you are, whose you are, and the power that you hold within so that you can operate in the confidence of who you are and not just regular human fleshly confidence that can turn into arrogance or whatever you want to call it. It's really just about kingdom confidence, in my opinion, like really knowing your spirit being, like we are spirit beings. So really knowing your spiritual authority that you have within you. Okay. So that's vitally important to me. And that all pretty much goes into the video. Y'all, as y'all can see, I was kind of losing my mind in that video because that was real. That was real. I want to dig into the video a little bit. It'll kind of tell you a little bit about myself, my journey, and how it ties into what the Good News Room is, has been created to do, basically. Okay, so as you can see, I tied it into or related it to the Chinese bamboo tree. I love the story of the Chinese bamboo tree. I had heard it a couple times, but when I heard it 2 years ago, it didn't really mean much to me. I just was I listened to a lot of talks and a speaker was talking about it. Didn't think anything about it until like last year, sometime last year. Like it just started, resonating in my spirit. Like, man, like I really get it now. I really get it. And I went through a season in my life where, as I said in the video, my breaking took a toll on me. And I'm one to always reflect on myself. So I was trying to find my way. Like I was in certain situations that were not good for me, that were unhealthy, dealing with certain things, dealing with life, just being an adult. And then my spiritual walk, it wasn't that it was crumbling. It was just that once I started digging, I started like becoming confused. And I was becoming confused because of what was going on in my life. It wasn't making sense. Like I was just dealing with a bunch of stuff and I had these expectations of what my life should be like. And it was not happening. And I was getting upset. So I became very upset, um, with the Lord. And it was just, it was breaking me down. It was breaking me down bad. But I will say that through my process, I understand where my disobedience also caused more harm than it did good as well. So when I went through my season of depression, I went through it for about 2.5 years. And I kind of want to just touch on the depression piece for a little bit. you guys know that I was making a couple posts on social media. If you follow me on social media, I was making a couple posts about depression because it's something that's very dear to me because there's different levels to it, and I would hate to see anybody go through it. I just don't like it. And it hurts my heart to see people have to deal with it, but I do understand. I'm the one that's always trying to save everybody sometimes. Like I just think that I can help everybody in the whole world, and then that just does not always happen, right? So for me, I then understood once I came out on the other side, I understood that isolation is needed sometime, and not necessarily that depression is needed, but sometimes just that process of life. Like that's why the word says trials and tribulations will come. Like we were never promised this happy go lucky glitz and glam lifestyle. It's just not going to happen. Like you would almost not need faith if you just had everything that you wanted, and nothing would ever be tested. Your strength would never be tested, your integrity, your character. Like it's just things that would never be tested. And I really can say, like I said in the video, like the bamboo tree, if you weren't paying attention to the video, um it takes about 5 years before it actually grows. So you plant the seed, you have to water, you still have to nurture, you still have to care to it, but it actually won't really start growing until about 5 years later. And then it actually grows 90 feet tall within 5 to 6 weeks. So for me, I kind of looked at that like, wow, you know, I went through my process, and it just so happened to be, it was 5 years that I went through my process as well. That things just started to he had to shake some things up within me, show me myself. That was actually a prayer that I started praying about 3 years ago. I prayed and asked him to show me myself. Be careful what you pray for as well. It may not be what you want. I really don't know if I'm supposed to look this way or if I'm supposed to look this way. So if y'all see me doing this, that's all that is. I'm just trying to figure out which one I'm supposed to look at. So anywho, yes, I went through that, and it just began to break some things down about myself, and I didn't like it. It hurt really, really bad. And one thing I've learned about depression is that it strips you of who you are. It's typically a bunch of lies that you're believing about yourself. And so I just want people to know that if you are going through depression, you have to understand that you've lost yourself. You've lost sight and focus of who you are. There are 5 questions um, that I read about that most people are questioning about themselves. But these 5 questions are typically used in every industry that there is. It ultimately determines who someone is, and I personally believe that finding out who you are is from within, it's from a spiritual point, and not everybody shares the same beliefs, and that's okay. If you have a higher power, like you have to have a source of something higher than yourself that you believe in. So 5 questions that usually are lost during the time of depression. It's usually, who am I? Where am I from, as far as like what is your source? Like where exactly are you from? And it could be even down to people who are adopted, or anything like that, or in foster care, anything like that. Like where am I from? Like where do I originally come from? Like where's the root and source of my people? That's another question. And why am I here? That's probably one of the main things. I asked that question so many times while I was going through my season. It was absolutely ridiculous. So what can I do, and where am I going? So if you ever get to a point of depression, and even now, you may not even be depressed. It just may be something that you wonder about. Think about those 5 things and make sure that you can answer all 5 of those. Again, it's, who am I? Where am I from? Why am I here? What can I do? And where am I going? Once you have a direction of where you're going, and you know for sure who you are, there's no stopping you. There's nothing that can stop you from doing what you know that you're purposed to do. During the time that I went through my depression, I was given my brand. I prayed about it, and I told the Lord, I said, I need you to impregnate me with a purpose. Like I felt it in my spirit, like I knew it was coming, But it was like, I'm just working. Now, if anybody knows me, I've always like been a really hard worker. Like I've worked a lot of jobs, and I was always committed to them. Like I don't really like bounce around jobs or anything like that, but the jobs that I had, I worked hard for them, and I had to recognize that my identity was found in me working. When I actually had my brand launched in 2017, I spoke about that briefly. My identity was found in me working. I've always, since I've started working my senior year of high school, when I started working, like, got tax taken out type work, like a real job, not like the paid under the table stuff. But when I started working in my senior year of high school, I was working two jobs all the time. And it wasn't that I needed to. I stayed at home. Parents took care of me. I don't think I moved out till I was like 21, but I always had two jobs. I love the idea of being independent and having my own money, buying all the shoes that I wanted, keeping my hair done. That's just what I enjoy doing. And initially, it was just what I enjoyed doing. I like working. My family has a good work ethic. My grandfather, my parents, not really like lazy people or anything like that. So for me, I just enjoyed doing it. Then it turned into, this was now my identity. Like I'm known for the girl who works two jobs and she goes to school. She take care of business. And I'm not saying that to brag or boast. I'm actually like saying that to let you know, like some people get caught up in that and think that they're all that because that's what they do. But it's because they have nothing else to offer but work. But that wasn't investing anything into me. It wasn't investing anything into the kingdom at all. I worked, and I worked every day, and I worked all night, and I went to school. And what I had to notice was I enjoyed the compliments that I received from people when they would, everybody always ask, so what do you do? I work here, I work there, and I go to school. No kids? No. You married? Nope. Oh, you smart. You got your head on your shoulders, or you a good girl, and you go to church, and you do this, and that, and all this other stuff. Now, disclaimer, I know some of y'all like, you're not the good girl because you go to church. I'm just letting you know what the typical response is usually. Everybody has their own opinions and stuff like that. So that's not what I'm here to say. But my point is that it made me feel good that people didn't have anything bad to say about me because I worked very hard. I went to school. I got decent grades and I stayed out of trouble. And according to the American way of the way things should be, I was doing good. So the Holy Spirit started dealing with me, and it was starting to bother me about my purpose. Once I started studying the Word and everything, I'm like, nothing that I'm doing is like benefiting the kingdom really. Yes, I speak to people. I have no problem sharing the word, encouraging people spiritually. I've always been that person that likes to invite people to church and stuff like that. That's just always been my personality and my spirit. So that part, I thought I was doing good. I'm like, I go to church, I got jobs, I got money, like I'm not pregnant. Like I gave myself all of these um pros. Like I had all these great things, quote unquote, going for me. And not that they weren't good things, it was just that to me, in my opinion, it wasn't enough. I got to a point where it wasn't enough. That was just mediocre. Like I was like, okay, once I started understanding the word and how the Father needs us, like we always say we need him, we cry out and we need you for this, like he needs us. That's why he created us, because he need us to do things, but we're not doing it. Like we just sit around and pray and ask for things, but we're not actually doing what he would want us to do. So once I started getting to that point, it was like, okay, I need you to give me a purpose. I don't know what it is. I don't know, like I'm kind of shy, but not really shy. I'm not as bad as I used to be when I was younger. I hate being up front, hate being on camera. I've always disliked all of that. Like I'm just like the background person. That's the type of person I enjoy being. And my brother on the other side, he's up front. He the rapper. He sing. He do everything, and he don't have no problem with it. Me, I'm good. Just keep me where I am. And so he started dealing with me. Again, he started breaking down some of those roots. And that's why I said you got to be careful what you pray for. And if you don't mean that thing, you might want to think about praying for that thing. I asked him to reveal myself to me, and I asked him to impregnate me with purpose. Just show me what it is that I'm supposed to do. And so he started dealing with me, and I had to recognize I'm the type of person, I don't like pain. And I don't like to see other people in pain. Like, I used to act crazy when I would get a whooping when I was little, like just act like they dang near killing me. I just don't like pain. And I was the security girl. I tried to listen. I listened to other people. If it would avoid me pain, hurt, heartache, I would always listen to other people. That also can become handicap where you don't know how to make decisions for yourself. I always look for validation for the decisions that I would make through people that I thought that were more mature than me. I wouldn't just go to anybody. It would be someone like my mom, my mentor, or a best friend, or something like that. My grandmother, like those are people that I would reach out to for. It's the difference when you're getting guidance and advice, or when that person has enough. You've given that person so much power and authority in your life that they actually can make decisions for you, not to where they can give you advice and you discern what you want to take from that. I wasn't at that point yet. In some areas I was, but not in all areas. So for me, and those are things he was showing me about myself. And that's what I mean by it took some breaking down, because I'm like, I think I'm doing pretty good. I think I'm smart, I'm responsible, and I was all those things. It was just I'm more than that. Like he had to show me that I'm more than that. Like you're more than everything that you think you are right now. You're more than that. And I have more for you. And I couldn't necessarily see myself there because I'm like, I don't want to be up front. Though you've kind of showed me years ago when I was a teenager, like where I'm going to be, like it was just a dream to me, but I couldn't actually see myself doing it. And I'm not there yet. And it still scares me because I'm still not completely that person, like liking to be upfront and all of that. So for me, when you I'm saying all that to say my depression took me to a point where I had to really take a look at myself. I had to stop being so hard on myself and allow myself room to be changed. I made up in my mind and my heart that I wanted to change, but I didn't want to go through the process of the change because the change hurts when it's not something that you're used to. And I had a lot of changing to do because I wanted to change. Like I wanted to be a particular type of way, and I still desire to. There are certain heights that I have not reached yet. But depression will have you believing lies that are not true about yourself. So when I did start to go through the change and the learning about myself, it became not just something that I can change about myself. It became like, because you're like this, you're a horrible person. Because you're not doing this, you're less than. And it doesn't make it any better when you got people in your ear telling you that you are not, and you will not, and you cannot, and it's supposed to be from people that you care about or people that you love. That becomes a lot of weight. So I say that to say depression is real, but you're real. Your spirit is real. Your creator, your father is real. And you can get on the other side of that. You have to dig into the word. You have to find your source. You just have to find you. And once you find you, it's literally nothing that can stop you. To anybody that may be on the level of depression, of suicidal thoughts, which is real, I pray for everyone, but I'm actually going to include some information. There are plenty of community groups, there are hotlines, there are therapists. It is nothing wrong with seeing a therapist. Now that I finally went to a counselor myself, I can say that it's okay to go see a counselor. I used to think that only crazy people went to counselors, but I am not crazy. Okay? I'm not crazy. I just needed to talk. And that's the thing. When you're going through depression, sometimes you just don't have somebody, or at least you feel like you don't have anybody to talk to. That's how I felt. I felt like I didn't have anybody to talk to, anybody that would understand me, because I barely understood myself and why I was doing what I was doing. When I was raised a certain way. So I had morals and I had standards, but I had really just gotten to a point in my life where it was like my standards seemed like they was going out the window. I was just accepting and allowing any and everything. And I became disappointed in myself. I feel like I let myself down. I felt less than of a person. And I was embarrassed to share those things with anyone around me. Anytime I would think about it or anytime I would give a smidge of information, it was just kind of like I was getting a side eye, like, what's wrong with you? And I was asking myself the same thing. What's wrong with me? Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So take time to pray if you're going through a series of depression. If you know somebody that's going through depression, take time out to reach out to them. And even when reaching out to them, it does not mean that you always have the answer. And sometimes prayer is simply all you can do. Because like I said, I do believe that certain seasons you will have to go through on your own. I know for me, my isolation took for me to be able to trust the Father, His Word, and to trust myself. Trust myself that I'm good enough, I'm wise enough, and I'm strong enough to make my own decisions. And I have a relationship close enough with Him that I know His voice, that He speaks to me, and that I can move forward in decisions that He's allowed me to make, or that He would like for me to make, for the betterment of others and His kingdom and myself. So that's why I believe that I had to endure the isolation part. And that may not be the case for you, because someone that may be contemplating suicide, it's not worth it, because depression and the things that you believe are typically a lie. It's literally, you have to change your mind, because it's all in your mind, and it festers into your heart, messes with your emotions, and it messes with your spirit. Don't believe the lies. That's why you have to find out who you are. That's why you have to dig into the word, do your research, do your studies, pray that you will be able to identify the voice of the Lord, number one, so that you'll know when He's speaking to you. And for me, the only way that I was able to find out how His voice sounds to me, it's not like an actual like voice that I hear. It's within my spirit, because He is a spirit and I'm a spirit being. I just got a dirt body. Like, this is just like a suit. You see this? This is my suit. Like, this is my suit. But we're all spirit beings, and we have to be able to connect with Him in such a way. And that took for me to read the word, to know how He operated. That took for me to do my research beyond the word, digging into the word in different ways. It took me to learn His voice by what He's done, what He said He's going to do, and what He's doing. That's, to me, how I was able to discern His voice, because I understand how He operates. And that entails me to be able to understand how I should operate, because I'm a part of Him. I'm His child. And if we're calling ourselves children of the Most High, then we are some pretty powerful, dynamic beings. And we have a lot of work to do that's not getting done. But at the end of the day, prophecy will be fulfilled. So why not be the one to make a mark in that? And I just want to encourage anybody that may be going through a hard time, a lonely time. You may not even be considered depressed. Like myself, I was what you call I was, what do you call it? In functional depression, because you probably couldn't look at me and tell that I was depressed unless you really, really knew me, because I did isolate myself, and that's not the type of person I am. So you may have known something was going wrong with me. And to me, it showed like in the way I would like dress, because I was known for like, I keep myself up. And I don't know, maybe it was just like when I was at work, I would never take my coat off. My friend actually told me, and I hope she watches this because she don't know who exactly she is. One day she told me I look like a homeless person. And I was at work, and I used to wear I had a long, at the time, I don't know, I think it was like spring or winter time, and I had this long like trench coat, and I would always keep it on buttoned all the way up. And I wear heels all the time, and I was not wearing heels. Like, I didn't I didn't take the time to take care of myself. I slept a whole lot because I didn't want to think. I didn't want to feel. I just wanted the pain to go away. And I felt like nobody was listening to me, like not even the Lord. Like he wasn't listening to me. He wasn't helping me as much as I was praying. And I'm like, dude, do you not hear me down here? Get me out of this situation. Make this person go away. Reveal this to me. Do that. Do this. Do that. And I just felt like nothing was happening. But again, I also just, because I was so deep into my depression, I wasn't recognizing everything that he was doing for me. And that's one thing you have to, a spirit of gratitude will take you a long, long way. So just remember that when you are going through a rough time, not everything that's negative is a lie, because it may just be the truth. But understand that you have the power to determine how you're going to handle the truth. You know, pray that truth will be revealed to you and that you will be receptive to the truth in any area of your life that it may be. Truth about yourself, or your direction of a job, or your family, your ministry. Praying that you will be able to discern the voice of the Lord and use wisdom in your decision, because anything is possible. You are strong, you are a co-creator, you are powerful, and you have authority to do the things that are asked of you. And those things are pretty much probably bigger than you can imagine. And I have to remind myself of that sometimes. But I just want to let you know that the good news is you are valued and you are loved. You are chosen to do great things. You are a chosen nation of our Father in heaven, and we have power within us and duties to take over and subdue this earth, to have dominion in the earth. He gave that to us, of everything that he's created. That's valuable. That shows our importance to him. So as much as you call on him, understand that he's calling on you as well. And you have to decide if you're going to say yes or not, because it is not going to be easy. It wasn't easy for him when he walked this earth, but yet he did it. Though his mission didn't really, he had a choice, but at the same time, it was all part of the plan. The Father's plans, prophecies will be fulfilled, whether we like it or not. So the Messiah coming down to walk the earth, do what he did, and die for us, that wasn't just for us to live any kind of way. That was just so that we don't die as early as we probably should if we're being condemned the way things were prior to. But we still have work to do. We still have consequences for the things that we do that are not of his laws. But besides all that, you have the power to do it. Things that we complain about, the change that we need to see in the world, we have the power to do those things. And I'm guilty of it. I've sat back and complained about things, and I had to realize and come to myself and say, I have to figure out a solution. We are solution finders. We are co-creators. Everybody has businesses now. Like I'm loving all the opportunities that people are taking advantage of, creating wealth for themselves, their families. We are in a information age. Like we are that generation. We're finding out who we really are, the power that we have, the things that we can do, and not letting anybody tell us differently. And I just want to keep encouraging us all to be interdependent more so than so independent. I used to be Queen Independent over here. So I just want to take this time to say thank you again for joining me in the Good News Room. Remember the good news. Remember to subscribe to the channel. And remember that you're special, that you're loved, that you're valued, no matter what anybody else tells you. And you deserve to be loved the proper way. We'll have plenty of discussions about many different things over the course of this journey, and I hope